Okay, I think that's it. I hope that's it. It's been a minute. Hello, my friends. What are we doing here? We just wrapped up our annual D&D extravaganza. That's where I've been the last few weeks. Prepping for that and then actually doing that this weekend. So, but now, back to it. We just wrapped up our annual D&D. Okay, sounds like I am audible. Alrighty. So, what am I doing? I am today, I believe, working on getting our outlines right. Oh yeah, we're working on lighting. Ignore how ugly our lighting looks. Unfortunate, but not much I can do about it yet. Yeah, I guess I can actually fix this. Right? Probably. Give it a sec. I think this should fix it. We're looking into ways to bake light maps into our render pipeline. It's gonna be a headache. I'm not a super experienced graphics engineer, so I'm a little bit lost, but shouldn't be too bad. For now, what we're working on is object highlighting for selections and stuff like that. The solution that I have working right now in the project isn't mine. It's one that was provided by someone who is using a much more in-depth solution for his project. And it uses object geometries, so cross-referencing changes in depth and normals to draw outlines. And that's really good for drawing outlines that take into account edges that are pointed towards the camera, but we don't need that functionality, and we have the benefit of an existing layer mask that we can use that should mean there should be a way more brain dead solution that I can do here. So I'm trying to see if I can get that working. Still a bit lightheaded from the mountain air, so fair warning. I might say some dumb things, which you probably gathered. I do somewhat frequently, so maybe nothing's changed. This won't fix the weird normals, but that shouldn't be a huge issue. Actually, I probably can fix at least some element of that while we're waiting for this. Get the object. So I see that we're... Okay, I'm assuming that it actually works. Um, okay. So basically, for this depth composite pass that we're doing, uh, we're now also comparing normals to determine whether to use the normals that we import from Blender for our maps. And that means that we similarly need to do a branch for our normals for when we're drawing 3D objects or not. So let's see. In this case, false is world space. So same deal here. And all right. See if that fixes it. Something funky's going on here. Oh, probably that right. So I rebuilt the shader like a fool. So where would I put this? Shader graph. Actual fact graph. This is particles, right? And shader graph. I'm sure it is literally right next to where I am, and I just can't see it. Feels like it should be here. No? Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm wondering why this is taking so long, because it shouldn't be. Padding. Our resolution is at 15. Like, this shouldn't be that bad. GPU. Super interesting. Part of it might actually be, yeah. Okay. Oh, let's do this down like 100, 16. I'm not super concerned about a lot of this stuff. Because we're not worried about it right now. I just don't want to deal with too much of this stuff. Six. We probably actually won't be baking our lighting in Unity for this project, given that most of the lighting's actually on a... Well, there might be some mixed, but I think most likely we won't be, and we'll be using imported light maps that we'll actually write shaders for, which I'm not looking forward to. Although some of it might just be multiplication, so I can't say that. It's possible that Blender will actually be doing a lot of our heavy lifting for us, but to be honest, I'm not actually super sure how that works. Come on. Cool. Yeah, this is closer to what I was expecting to look like. We kind of got rid of a lot of the Blender lighting, which is expected. And yeah, okay. So the normals that we're using now are expected. So the scene normals are one thing, and then we have 3D objects using their actual expected normals. Okay, neat. So, right, this is an illustration of what I'm trying to fix. You can kind of see what the problem is here, which is that we're using object geometry to show outlines, which isn't the worst thing in the world. It also looks like it's being okay, I can't tell. It definitely is getting affected by lighting, right? I'm not wrong about that. So I think probably among other things, the render feature is in the wrong spot. Let's take a look. Here we go. For rendering skybox. Yeah, there we go. Few issues, but yeah, it introduces some problems. Actually, probably makes it look better, but we probably have to skip that too much of a scale. So 1, 5 maybe. Because I guess depth probably changes a little bit. Yeah, we probably want to feed camera zoom into this. That's probably a significant element of all of it. I don't hate this, but I think that realistically it's not going to be super viable for us to use this as, well, I have mixed feelings. I mean, I kind of like it. Well, I'll keep the code for this. So this is very much not mine. I don't remember the name of the. Yeah, well, I should give credit where it's due. Hang on a second. I still watch his streams all the time. He's making some kind of Pokemon game that looks really cool. Uh, I shouldn't say. I'm sorry, not Pokemon. Creature catching game. Generic. Un. Yeah. Uncopyrighted. Robin Siebold. Yeah. 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 This dude. This dude. Okay, he needs way more subs. For this dude is a legend. So for all of the people in the future who may hypothetically sometime watch this stuff log, take a look at this guy. Dude's really, really, really smart. His outlines for his game, just for context, are the best I have ever seen. So take a look at this. He goes through in very sort of exhaustive detail how he gets the effects he gets, and I am, with few exceptions, using pretty much exactly what he's doing. So just heads up there. Yeah. So we'll see how we feel about these. I think that realistically, in a game like this, having geometry-based outlines is unnecessary and risks certain issues. So, do I feel that? Yeah, I do. Okay. So, what are we doing? Outlines layer mask. I do kind of wonder if... So the claim is that this feature is experimental, but I kind of bet it's not. So after post-processing, meaning we outline last. Is there a way to name this or something? Yeah, so we call this mask. Oh, yeah, so here is the gist of what I'm thinking realistically. So we've got these geometry-based outlines that we're doing, which work okay, and I'm not mad about them. Obviously, they are not currently taking camera zoom into account, which is a problem. And beyond that, they're a little... there's some jank because we're using geometry to determine them, and that means that we're beholden to, in particular, any sort of quirks of object geometry that we might have. That's definitely visible here. That is a problem, as is, well, okay. I mean, it's not a huge problem. And then obviously we need to do something about zoom. That's still going to be a necessary parameter for the shader, but we can deal with that as we go. The thing that I'm realizing is that the way that we handle showing outlines in general is that we move things to an outline layer, and that means that multiple things can be outlined simultaneously if the player presses the Alt button, which I haven't implemented yet, but you get the idea. And then when they're unhighlighted, they get moved back to the normal layer. So that has a few benefits, and one of them is that we'll be able to change the rendering strategy for certain objects. This is one thing that we can do, but we could also do other things where specifically outlined objects maybe have a little hover effect attached to them, or so on and so forth. So if we have that, that effectively means that we could use a simple layer mask to end up with a layer that we want to outline in its entirety. Which is interesting because that's, for our case, I think that most games like this, I'm thinking Disco, Pathfinder, and even the older Baldur's Gates, don't really do geometric outlines. They do screen space outlines, and if we have a mask that just has, like, it's transparent, and we want to put outlines around every non-transparent object on that layer mask, I think that we can just do this as a 2D shader. I don't actually think that we need to use any of the geometry of the 3D geometry that we have in the scene. So we can ignore depth, and we can ignore normal vectors, I think almost entirely. And instead of doing that, just check when there's an adjacency of something to nothing. Which is interesting. So I'm looking into that. Now, I think that this render objects feature will work, and I can pass a shader into this. We can say whether we need depth. I think we do need the camera texture. Oh, no, I think we already have it. So I think this is asking for... Oh, these are overrides. Okay, we don't want to be overriding. Oh, can we override depth? We can write to it. And we can do a depth test. Okay. This is neat, and I might use this at some point, but I was actually kind of hoping that we could actually put an override material for depth, but that seems to not be the case. Okay. Okay. So I think filters, we want to just do outline. Get rid of this. Okay. Okay. So there's going to be some kind of shader that we want here. And what do we need for it? We need... Well, we're probably going to want some parameters. So we'll give a float for thickness. Let's call this outline thickness. Color. Color. That is probably it. There's probably some way of creating some kind of sensitivity sensor. And I'll think about that, but I think for now, I'm not going to worry about it. Cool. Function. Putting our thickness, color. I feel like there is a... Oh, here we go. Our output is probably going to be a color. I guess that's a vector 4. other shader left. First capitalization. Um, okay. Add it here. Source file doesn't exist. Yeah. Okay. So this is where we will create a shader. Yeah. This is unlit, right? Okay, I don't actually know. I'm just gonna do it from scratch. Too hard. Okay. So just add a file called. Okay. I think we should have a pretty simple start, which is just going to be texture. God, I don't know the syntax. Hang on. Oh, no, wait. I think we have to do .hlsl if we want to use this as a function. That is probably a thing. That is good. Main text, sure. What's it getting angry about? I disagree, so I'm going to ignore this. And I think really call this outline mask because this is the texture. This is the render texture of our outline. So this will be the point where we have a 2D render texture. It'll be our input with all of the objects that exist in our outlines layer. This is really interesting. I guess we'll find out if there's a problem. So we have a sampler, which will use each vertex. And we have a texel size that we'll use to size the actual outline. I think that's all that we need. Yes, I believe that's correct. All this. And I think that we can do float. What we have to put in? I don't think so. Then we're, I think this is reserved. Okay. Yeah. So I think we want to be able to know minimum and maximum for each of these, meaning that our outline, what is what? Half our outline thickness. And we want to know what it can be between. So C W. Yeah. Okay. Do I even need this? I'm actually kind of thinking that we might not. Because we do need the texel size, but we should just actually be able to sample current pixel in each of its neighbors, right? So this might be this is how I think should do it in the condition that we need to make this work alongside other types of samplers, but I actually think that we can ignore that, can't we? And I actually think this is also not necessary. With all of that, I think what we can do is oh, yeah, I guess UV's the UV of the texture. The outline mask is probably not the right way to clear this, right? Because we probably what's the Unity main camera? We can probably do it. Hang on. I think main texture will always, yeah. Hmm. Don't we see color? I think is what we would do here. Well, no. So we do need the depth texture for the scene, or the color texture for the scene. So how would we access that? I wish I knew how to do this. Uh, hmm. So confused. We're close. I just have to figure out how we actually get the. ask the robot here. It might be that that's actually reserved, so we might be able to get away with. Are you able to do this? So can I do? Hang on. It might be that Unity actually reserves a namespace for us. Maybe. I'm gonna work under the assumption that that is actually a thing, and we will see if it's not, because I remember being able to do this. So what I'm gonna do here is call this and we'll see if this works. Like Copilot, I think Copilot got it mostly right, but there are some issues here. This is wrong. So center minus left. Plus center minus right, plus center minus top, center minus bottom. That's where our ternary lives. Also, votes for these. So we see any color. Okay. I think that works. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it. So that is interesting. Okay, and then the UVs that we're passing in, I think, are going to be just our UV0 channel. Should be input. Geometry UV. Big part of my issue. I think that is what I thought. Um, okay. Yes. And I think that we can just get rid of this entirely. Does that fix the issue? Still, or yeah. It's here. Issue. Hmm. I think that's the problem. This is a macro. Declared identifier outline. That's not good news. Oh boy. Mm-hmm. Well, let's thickness. We'll go for default 5, and outline color default of green. first question. So something is definitely not working. Interesting that it only happens... Okay. Well, let's take a look. So I low-key think it's probably not terrible. So makes some sense. Actually, no, I'm kind of curious about some stuff. So if we go to here, so this actually is what this is currently outputting. Accessing the output, right? What's kind of weird is it feels like we shouldn't even be. The fact that this is ending up gray is very strange. I feel like it should all end up whatever the color itself is. Oh, something happened. Super weird. Okay. Does this tank our frame rate? Kind of seemed like it did. Interesting. Any errors? No. Okay. I think it's gonna be it for now. I am gathering that something that I'm doing is great. So I think actually this is working, which is cool. I'm trying to understand why it's so slow. Uh, yeah. Is it because we're doing texel size calculations? Stupid question, but that definitely seems to be part of it. Steady 60 frames. Actually, steady 60 frames. Mm. Yeah, I think something is off here. Because this shouldn't be as expensive as it is. So clearly I'm doing something wrong. I have to read up on what I'm actually doing here. Alright, well, more to come.